Purpose. The purpose of this procedure is to establish consistent practices in processing confirmed client orders and managing client satisfaction. Scope. This procedure defines the steps, responsibilities, internal controls, and authorizations for confirming client orders and monitoring the delivery of all business services. These include turnkey events and exhibition services offered by Arena Middle East and Asia, specifically in UAE, KSA, and Asia, to our clients. Applicability. The procedures defined in this document apply to all staff in Arena's Sales and Client Services division who are involved in processing orders for Arena's business services in UAE, KSA, and Asia divisions. Glossary of terms. Change requests. A formal request to change the project management plan baseline. Approved change requests are documented. Authorize changes that may expand or reduce the project scope. Modify the project management plan. Adjust costs, budgets, or revise schedules. Deliverables. Quantifiable goods or services that must be provided to the client upon project completion. Deliverables can be either tangible or intangible in nature. Lessons learned. Experiences gathered from past project activities that should be actively considered in future projects, actions, and behaviors. Stakeholders. Individuals who have a genuine stake in the project's outcome. Stakeholders may include internal members, such as operations and other departments, as well as external parties like suppliers, investors, and partners. Procedure. This procedure includes 5 key activities, as illustrated in the figure below. Each of these activities is described in detail in the following pages. Confirm and kick off job. Manage ancillary orders. Manage change requests. Support client invoicing. Conduct client debrief, and capture lessons learned. Confirm and kick off job. To confirm the job, the account manager, or AM, should receive a signed LPO or contract from the client. A signed copy of the proposal is also acceptable as confirmation if the client cannot issue an LPO or contract. The confirmation documents, if they are a copy of our proposal, must be signed and stamped by the client. Client contracts must be reviewed with the legal team to avoid any legal complications or liabilities for the organization. For new clients, AM requests the following documents from the client for registration: a completed client registration form, the latest copy of trade license, and the latest copy of VAT certificate. The AM uploads these documents in the client folder and notifies the team about the confirmation of the project. This notification email must include key details about the project with project code and link to the client folder in Arena shared folder. The AM must ensure that the email is sent to all members of the project team. For client credit authorization, the account manager, or AM, submits a credit authorization request to the regional CEO or country manager. Once the request has been approved by the client services director, the kickoff meeting is arranged and facilitated by the AM. The AM should invite and ensure the attendance of the lead project manager, the core project team, and ideally, all relevant stakeholders who have insight, information, feedback, or a vested interest in the project's outcome. The agenda of the kickoff meeting will include team introductions, scope of work, including requirements and timeline, approvals, funding and payments, any risks and issues, feedback and questions. The account manager, or AM, must ensure that minutes of the meeting are recorded as a reminder for actions agreed upon. The AM should aim to address any concerns the project team may have regarding the scope, budget, or other project-related risks. Ownership of the project is handed over to the project manager, along with all project assets, after the project kickoff. Manage ancillary orders. Ancillary orders related to the project include orders prepared to recover costs for storing client inventory, expenses for damage to arena's assets, or other costs not covered in the original bill of quantities, or BOQ. For any client requests to store their inventories in arena's warehouses, the account manager, or AM, prepares and submits a quotation to the client for the service. The head of asset management must be consulted to confirm the availability and cost of warehouse space for storing non-arena inventories. An LPO or client-approved copy of the quotation must be available to process these orders. The account manager, or AM, shares this instruction with the project manager, who then instructs the delivery coordinator to include the approved items in the load list. To assess any damage to arena stock during the project manager will conduct a walk-around with the client to inspect the damage to furniture or other assets. An inspection report, acknowledged by the client, is then issued to the AM. Based on a discussion with the finance manager, the AM should advise the asset team on the allocation of the repair cost. If repair expenses are significant, the cost must be recovered from the client. For such recoveries, the AM informs the client about the damages and submits a quotation to recover the damage expenses. All change requests must be directed to the account manager, or AM. The AM consults the project manager and quantity surveyor to analyze and review the impact of the change in terms of scope, cost, and schedule. Change requests are identified and documented in variations documents. If the project team agrees to proceed with the change request, the AM obtains client approval for the requested changes. Once approved, the AM notifies the team about the confirmation of the variations and shares the approved variations document with the project team to be included in the project build schedule. The consolidated variations document, which includes all approved change requests, is issued to the accounts receivable accountant for invoicing. Support client invoicing. The account manager, or AM, is responsible for initiating client invoicing based on agreed payment terms. The AM also supports the accounts receivable accountant, or ARA, in collecting payments from the client when collection issues are escalated. Clients are invoiced for projects based on agreed payment plans. The AM will request the ARA to generate invoices according to the payment plan, issue the invoice to the client on time, and ensure that Arena receives all project-related payments from the client. The AM is responsible for leading invoicing and payment collection for any advance payments agreed upon by the client. Subsequent invoicing and payment collection may be led by the ARA, with support from the AM. For costs related to variations, the account manager, or AM, will share the approved variations document with the accounts receivable accountant, ARA, and request that a variations invoice be prepared and issued to the client. For costs related to damages to the kit, the AM will coordinate with the relevant department to capture the cost of the damage. This cost is then communicated to the client, and a quotation is issued for client approval. Once approved, the AM requests the ARA to prepare and issue a damage invoice. For storage-related costs, the AM will share an approved storage quotation with the ARA and request the preparation and issuance of a storage invoice to the client. The AM will support the ARA in following up for payment or in resolving any invoice-related disputes or amendments with the client when requested by the ARA. The account manager, or AM, monitors the performance of the project to ensure it is executed and delivered by the project management team in alignment with the client's expectations. After the project's completion, the AM conducts a client debriefing session to capture the client's satisfaction with the project delivery. The AM sends the customer satisfaction survey to the client's point of contact annually or upon completion of a service. If the client does not respond within 4 weeks, a follow-up reminder is sent. On receipt of customer complaints or feedback, this information is communicated to the QHSE manager. Once the issue has been investigated and the root cause and corrective actions are identified, a formal or verbal response is sent to the client. Capture lessons learned. The account manager, or AM, reaches out to various key stakeholders of the project, including the project manager, production manager, operations manager, and other relevant members to capture the project's overall performance. This feedback is recorded in the project closure report. Project closure reports are used by management to evaluate the project's performance and to capture recommendations on best practices or lessons learned for future projects. The project closure report is discussed in the project debriefing and lessons learned session, which is arranged by the AM. The report is then issued to the QHSE manager for analysis and correction. The QHSE manager or delegate shall analyze customer satisfaction and complaint data to identify any low performance or trends. Present the data and findings to the head of operations or projects quarterly to determine improvement activities. Present the analysis data and findings at management review meetings. The head of operations or projects shall ensure that customer requirements are met to enhance customer satisfaction. Review analysis data quarterly to determine improvement activities. Provide responses or feedback to clients on improvement activities where required, and share both positive and negative feedback with the teams for awareness and learning. A RACI matrix is a tool that clarifies roles and responsibilities in a project by designating who is responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed for each task. Please take some time to study this matrix for a clear understanding of team roles. Please review this RACI matrix carefully. Related documents and references. Here is a list of the documents referenced in this lesson.